Hello boys, welcome back to another session of video tutorials, and this session is meant for class 11th biology students, and this is for 6th January 2021. And as all of you know, we are into the revision mode and we are revising chapter excretory products and their elimination. And as all of us know, in our previous sections, we were talking about the main organs that are involved in excretion, that is kidneys. And we understood the vertical section as well as the inner parts of the kidney and what is their function. Also, we talked about the functional unit of excretion is nephron. Don't get confused between neuron and nephron. Nephron is excretory unit of the kidney, whereas neuron is nerve cell. So don't have the confusion. And we also discussed that nephron has got a cup-shaped structure called Bowman's capsule, and inside that Bowman's capsule there is a network of arteries and arterioles with efferent and afferent arterioles coming there. And then there is one PCT, proximal convoluted tubule. Proximal means closer to Bowman's capsule. That's why it is called PCT, proximal convoluted tubule. And then there is a U-shaped structure. That U-shaped structure is called Henle's loop. And then after the Henle's loop, there is an ascending structure, and then again there is a tube-like structure. That tube-like structure is far away from the Bowman's capsule. So we say distal, means at a distance. DCT, distal convoluted tubule. And then the distal convoluted tubule is joining to a common duct, CD we say, or collecting duct. In this, the main mechanism that involves in urine formation is the countercurrent mechanism, wherein the countercurrent mechanism talks of transport of substances facilitated by special arrangement of Henle's loop and vasa recta is called countercurrent mechanism. And as you all know, countercurrent means that the fluid flows in opposite directions in the two sides of Henle's loop. You are seeing here one direction and the second direction, Henle's loop, different directions. And down one side and up the other, as you are seeing here, down one side and up the other side. It helps to maintain concentration gradient in the medullary interstitial fluid, which helps in an easy absorption of water from the filtrate present in the CD, that is collecting duct, so that the concentration of the urine is increased. The proximity between the loop of Henle and the vasa recta. Vasa recta is again the network of the vasa recta will be surrounding this, as well as the countercurrent in them help in maintaining and increasing osmolarity towards the inner medullary interstitial fluid. This gradient is mainly caused by sodium chloride and urea. Sodium chloride is transported by the ascending limb. As you are seeing here, see, it is transported by the ascending limb of loop of Henle, which is exchanged with the descending limb of vasa recta. NaCl is returned to medullary interstitial fluid by the ascending portion of vasa recta. Similarly, small amounts of urea, this one, and enter the thin segment of the ascending limb of Henle, which is transported back to the medullary interstitial fluid by the CD collecting duct. So as you are seeing, the arrow marks indicate which one is going out and which one is coming in. So this movement of materials make this urine with the interstitial fluids to maintain osmoregularity. So based on that osmoregularity, urine can be hypertonic or hypotonic, so depending upon the concentration gradient. So So this movement of materials on both the directions, one downside, one upward, is counter current mechanism. And then we come to regulation of kidney function. How kidney function can be regulated? So first and foremost, as blood pressure decreases, the cells of the juxtaglomerular apparatus, we say JGA, release an enzyme called renin. An enzyme called renin is released and activate the RAS, RAAS, RAS. RAS is R for renin, A for angiotensin, another A for aldosterone, S for system. Sometimes he will ask you one more question. Expand RAS. Renin, angiotensin, aldosterone, system. Renin converts angiotensinogen into angiotensin 1. Angiotensin converting enzyme, that is ACE, converts angiotensin 1 into angiotensin 2, which is a peptide hormone that is the active form. Angiotensin 2 increases the synthesis and release of aldosterone, raises blood pressure directly by constricting blood vessels, and stimulates sodium reabsorption by the PCT. Just now we said proximal convoluted tubule. Aldosterone is a hormone secreted by the cortex of adrenal glands. When aldosterone is present in the blood, all the sodium ions, that is Na plus ions, in the filtrate is reabsorbed by the epithelial cells of the collecting duct. Retaining Na plus raises the osmotic pressure of the blood, thereby reduces water loss from the body. So this is how the regulation takes place. As far as RAS is concerned, when water content in the body is low, the posterior pituitary secretes ADH, antidiuretic hormone, that increases reabsorption of water in DCT and collecting ducts by making them more permeable to water. Therefore, small amount of hypertonic urine is eliminated. There is another hormone which is called ANF. A stands for atrial, N stands for natriuretic, F for factor. So ANF is atrial natriuretic factor, which opposes the regulation by RAS. This factor can cause vasodilation. There what happened under RAS? It is constriction. Here dilation. There it is increased blood pressure. Here it is decreased blood pressure. So when vasodilation takes place, there will be decrease in blood pressure. Thus, who is controlling the kidneys? Three things are controlling. One is RAAS, RAS. Second, ADH. Third, ANF. So these are the three factors that control the regulation of kidney function. So they control body fluid osmolarity, salt concentration they control, blood pressure just now I said they control, and of course blood volume also will be under control. These are the three factors that regulate the kidney function. And already we discussed about micturation. The process of expulsion of urine from urinary bladder is called micturation. The neural mechanism that causes it is called micturation reflex. Urine formed in nephron is stored in urinary bladder till a voluntary signal is given by central nervous system, CNS. This initiates the contraction of smooth muscles in the urinary bladder and simultaneous relaxation of the urethral sphincter, and that causes release of urine. This is how urine will be released from inside our body, from the urinary bladder to outside. And of course there are other organs which are also play important role in excreting various materials like lungs, liver and skin also play important role in the process of excretion. Lungs remove CO2, as all of us know, and water. Liver eliminates bile containing substances like bilirubin, biliverdin, and sweat glands remove NaCl, small amount of urea, and lactic acid. Sebaceous glands excrete sterol, hydrocarbons, and waxes. So this is how various organs helping us to throw out waste materials or poisonous materials. Thus, we keep healthy. In spite of that, sometimes there will be some failures in some of the parts of excretory system that will cause disorders. So let us see disorders of excretory system. The first and foremost is uremia. Uremia is accumulation of urea in the blood due to malfunctioning of kidney. When kidney doesn't function properly, urea will be accumulated in the blood. Highly harmful, of course, urea is highly toxic, and it is usually a consequence of renal failure or kidney failure. In such patients, urea can be removed by hemodialysis. Second, renal failure or kidney failure. It is a medical condition in which kidneys fail to adequately filter the waste products from the blood, particularly glomerular filtration. Hemodialysis should be started after diagnosis is done. In hemodialysis, blood is drained from the artery into a dialyzing unit that contains cellophane tube surrounded by a fluid of same composition as plasma, except nitrogenous waste. Nitrogenous waste will not be there. Cellophane membrane allows passage of molecules based on concentration gradient. Nitrogenous waste hence freely move out, and cleared blood is pumped back to the body through vein. So this is artificially we are cleaning the process when the natural kidneys fail, that is hemodialysis. And the third one, renal calculi, of course, as it is says, calculi, stones. So don't think that there will be stones that we see in the soil inside the kidney. These stones are calcium and phosphorus, calcium oxalate crystals. Okay, it is formation of stone or insoluble mass of crystallized salts formed within the kidney. Whenever we consume foods that are rich in calcium excessively, calcium oxalate crystals will be formed, which are kidney. These are formed inside the kidney. Sometimes these are formed in the ureter, which will be very painful, and sometimes they are present in the urinary bladder, less painful, but sometimes they are present even in urethra, again, which is very, very painful. So doctors screen it and find out through the MRI how many stones are there, what is the size of it, and the best way to avoid this renal calculi is drink plenty of water. As I have been telling you, drink at least 5 to 6 liters a day. There will not be any kidney stones. And have a change in the food habits. Don't eat foods that are very rich in calcium and phosphates. Have limited quantity. Next, last one, glomerulonephritis. It's also called Bright's disease. As the name suggests, it is swelling, inflammation of glomeruli of the kidney due to entry of proteins. When we consume a lot of proteins, this happens. Red blood corpuscles in the filtrate due to injury. There can be injury also. And sometimes even the bacterial toxins will be there. Use of drugs also will make inflammation of glomeruli. Hence, we need to be careful. So more or less, if you analyze the disorders of excretory system, it is mainly related to our lifestyles. It is also related to the food that we eat. What type of food are we eating? Hence, if we can take care of that, all these disorders will not be there for us. We will be healthy.